1, 2, 3, funk it.
Hey guys, it's Tiffany. What is freaking up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, make sure you guys subscribe. If y'all are old, hello, welcome freaking back. So in today's video, we are doing a May plan with me video. I know, it is currently like May 10th and I am 10 whole freaking days late. April was probably the worst month for me, where I wasn't actually opening up my bullet journal every single day. I was probably opening it every 4 days and I just felt like a fraud. Like, why am I telling people to set up their bullet journals when I'm totally failing at setting up my own bullet journal? But over the last 7 days, so many of you guys have DM'd me, commented on my videos, commented on my Instagram, messaged me all over the place asking me where my May bullet journal setup was, and I was shook at how many of you guys actually wanted to see this, and I figured I might as well just make one this month, even if it is 10 days late. This theme I am doing is hands down one of my favorite themes I've ever done, and I say that every single video, but I swear my bullet journal game has shot through the roof. I have completely surpassed what I thought I could ever accomplish as a bullet journaler. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this bullet journal setup. Ooh, let's go. So for the month of May, I decided I wanted to do a theme that was very, very simple and so easy to recreate. So I found these really cool mid-century modern designs that are minimalist inspired. A lot of it is moons and suns and starbursts and hills, but I figured that would probably be really easy for you guys to recreate. I'm using these new alcohol markers that I got off of Amazon, and holy freaking cow, I'm in love with these alcohol markers. I will say they do bleed. So if you guys do use alcohol markers, then definitely skip a page. And I also had to use a piece of scratch paper underneath every single page so it wouldn't bleed through. So on the left side of my spread, I am just drawing in a moon. As you guys can see from the bottom right and the bottom left, my color theme this month is very Sahara Desert, very muted and natural colors. But as you guys can tell, alcohol markers look so cool. There's no streaks if you use it correctly, and it just has this very blended look. So on the right side of my cover spread, I decided I wanted to do a cute little Dutch door. So I just cut it out and I ripped off the rest of the page, and I'm just using my favorite Pat McGrath loose powder to trace that circle. And to color in my sun, I am using the same terracotta color that I used on the left side. Also for the moon, I didn't like that you could see the little black dots for my bullet journal, so I went in with a white gel pen and just marked in all the little dots, and I cleaned up the moon. And here you can see a before and after, and it looks a lot better once I whited everything out with a gel pen. I also didn't like the fact that I colored in the hill a very cool tone. I wanted to do a more warm beigey tone, so I just chose this rose beige color and just colored everything in. So I'm just using my eraser and just erasing all the pencil marks, which is honestly kind of hard to use when you're coloring in with alcohol markers. So I would definitely use very light strokes with your pencil. So the font I chose this month, I didn't end up loving so much. I went with a Egyptian style font. I kind of regretted that I did that. I wished I went for a more Aztec or Southwestern font. I think originally I was going for a Sahara Desert type vibes, but I didn't completely love the font that I chose. And I'm just using my Sakura Jelly Roll pens to color in the black. I'm gonna leave all the supplies I used down below in my description box if you guys are curious. Originally, behind my Dutch door, I wanted to add in a little quote, but I honestly wasn't inspired by any quotes that I found this month. So I decided to have a little mini calendar for the month of May underneath it, but you can honestly hide anything you want behind this Dutch door. I think it just looks really freaking cool. So this is kind of how my May cover spread turned out, and I'm so happy with the color theme and everything. I think it's honestly my favorite cover page I've ever made. Alright, so we're on to the next page. I definitely had to skip pages because, as you guys can see, alcohol markers definitely bleed through. So I just used double-sided sticky tape to tape the two pages together. On this next page, we are going to be doing my monthly layout. I decided to change up my monthly layout just a tiny bit. So I found a different Egyptian font that I use for the days of the week. It definitely looks really cool, but again, I wish I chose a different font, but Matt really liked it, and I guess he really liked it because it's definitely a more masculine font. So for the days of the week, I'm coloring in the background depending on if it's a weekday or a weekend. I'm using my Crayola super tip markers. These don't bleed through, but they just don't have the same effect as alcohol markers. And for my May header, I'm just using the same font I use on my cover page, and it actually just ended up working really well. I also ombreed 2 colors for the May title. Again, alcohol markers are really good for this, and I keep talking about alcohol markers, but that is because I'm obsessed with them. Normally for my monthly layouts, I have 2 sections dedicated for events and goals for the month, but because we're still in self-quarantine in Los Angeles, I decided to just not do that because I never used it last month, and instead I'm drawing out this really cool sand dune with a sun peeking out of it. The left side was this beautiful yellow ochre color, and the right side is a very blush pastel pink. And I decided to use my white gel pen to separate the 2 colors, and this is how my monthly layout turned out. Alright, for my next page, I had to skip a page again, I just didn't show it, and this is going to be my habit tracker. Last month, I was terrible at tracking my habits, and so this month, I decided to just do my basic 6 or 7 habits. My 7 habits that I'm tracking this month is waking up before 9:30 a.m., eating vegetarian, eating no cheese, journal every single day, my upload schedule, my nightly skincare routine, and getting dressed. So for the font that I'm using for my habit tracker, I just decided to do a calligraphy font. Again, not really good at calligraphy, so I cheat my way in doing it. I just write out habit tracker in cursive, and I just fill in the downward strokes in a heavier line, so it looks like I do calligraphy, but your girl is no Amanda Rach Lee. And for the design for my habit tracker, I decided to do the phases of the moon. I think it looks really cool, and I made sure to color every single one in a different color. So for my mood tracker, I decided to do something completely different. This actually took so much time and work, but I loved how it turned out. I decided to do a sunburst. So I'm just drawing out a sun and with little sun rays coming out of it. And I'm drawing about 32 of these since the month of May has 31 days in it. To perfectly make these little lines, what I did was I drew a little dot in the center of the sun, and I made sure that my ruler was always at the center of the sun so that it would make it perfectly straight lines. And originally I colored in this page with my Super Tips Crayola markers. As you guys can tell, it is very, very streaky. That is why I love alcohol markers, but I figured I didn't want to skip more pages because I didn't want to run out of pages in my bullet journal. But after I colored everything in with my Super Tips markers, I decided that I hated the look of all the streaks when none of the other pages were really that streaky. So I decided to go in with the same color in an alcohol marker. And in 3, 2, 1, here is what it looks like with the alcohol markers. Just looks a lot better. So to explain that this page was a mood tracker, I forgot to actually leave space to write mood tracker on it. So I just grabbed a scrap piece of paper from my bullet journal and I just wrote in mood tracker on it. And then I just cut it out and stuck it on with my double-sided tape. And then to track my actual moods, I decided that for every single piece of Starburst, I was gonna have a different pattern inside of it, depending on my mood. And I decided I didn't like the look of the little piece of paper that said mood tracker on it. It just looked really janky. So I decided to use my white gel pen instead. And so here's how my habit tracker and mood tracker turned out. I just think it looks so freaking cool. And I know I'm saying that for every single page, but it just really looks so freaking cool. Alright, for the next 2 pages of my spread, I decided I was going to do a content calendar. I've never done one of these before, but I wanted to track how many times I was uploading on YouTube in the month of May, how many times I was doing TikToks, how many times I was doing Instagrams. So you guys don't follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you guys should, at MissTiffanyMa. So I decided to have little squares on the very left of every single graph, and I was going to mark it off with a different colored marker whenever I actually uploaded or did something. And then on the very right hand side, I had 3 little boxes for ideas, goals for the month, and little notes for the month. And again, for the title page of my content calendar, I used the same Egyptian font I've been using for my entire theme, and I ended up liking this font for this page. So for the design I wanted to do for my content calendar, I wanted to do a very, very simple design, and I decided just to color in the entire page with different markers, and I'm separating every single color with a little white line. As you guys can tell, I kind of messed up when I was drawing my little squares and graphs, so I colored those in with a white gel pen. Unfortunately, the alcohol markers didn't color in the white gel pen because it just wouldn't absorb any of the color. So I decided to draw in a marble design to kind of hide the fact that I messed up, and I think it ended up looking so cool. So yeah, this is how it turned out. I honestly think this is my favorite page out of my entire May spread. It's just so clean and gorgeous and perfect. Alright, so for the last few pages, I'm just doing my weekly spreads. I actually got this idea from Amanda Rachel Lee, and I fell in love with this, and I've been wanting to try it ever since. But what she did was she had 2 full weeks on the left side of her spread. So this is going to be my week 1 of May and week 2 of May. And as you guys can see, I started my week 1 on the 4th of May, honestly because I don't remember what I did from May 1st to May 3rd. And then on the right hand of my page, I'm gonna have a giant to-do list where I just have everything that I need to get done. And I made the to-do look like it was a piece of sticker, and I loved how this turned out. Also, I decided to color in the back of this entire spread with this terracotta color. And for the design I just used my white gel pen, and I used a very geometric design. I think it ended up looking so cool. So I just drew in random squares and rectangles and half moons, and this is how it ended up turning out. As you guys can see in my to-do list, this is how alcohol markers blend together. They just look so amazing, and the key to using alcohol markers is never letting it dry. And make sure you're going in one direction, so left to right or right to left, and never start from the middle or you're gonna be completely screwed and you're gonna see the streaks. So yeah, here is my May spread. I am so happy with how it turned out. Let me know what your favorite page was in my monthly spread. I honestly wish I did the spread for June because it's already the middle of May and I can't enjoy the spread as much as I could if I had started it at the beginning of the month. So that is my only regret, minus the fact that I do regret the font, but I ended up kind of loving it now that I'm rewatching this footage, and that is it. Yay! So that is it with today's bullet journal video. I hope you guys enjoyed my bullet journal setup for this month. Holy freaking cow, I think this bullet journal setup is so freaking cute! I cannot believe that I did this. Like, I saw a vision in my head and then I recreated it on paper. I don't know, I'm really freaking proud of it. If you guys have ever thought about bullet journaling, today is a day to start. If you guys need a creative outlet, if you guys need something very therapeutic, if you guys are just down, then definitely start something new like bullet journaling. So yeah, if you guys made it to the end of the video, I want to know. So comment down below, what time did you go to bed last night? I went to bed at 2 a.m. last night. But yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. I love you guys. Bye, guys. Sorry, my phone keeps going off. Bye.
Hey, you the best part of every single day. Ooh, no matter what I do, I'll be lost in you.